I don't understand why people rely on others to do something for them, and then if it doesn't get done right, they just complain about it. You know what I mean? Like, if you rely on somebody to do something for you, or if you're even doing something with somebody, like if you start going to the gym with your gym partner, what happens the day that gym partner doesn't show up? Chances are you're not going to go to the gym because you're in a routine of going with somebody, and if that somebody ends up wanting to take a break, you might say, hey, why not? It's just one day, I'll take a break. But what happens the next time? You're going to take a break again? Learn to love doing things by yourself. Because if you do things by yourself, you do not need anybody. Why do you think I'm doing this podcast by myself? Because if I try to book somebody for an interview every podcast, in the very beginning when I'm really not big because I just started the channel, if I rely on somebody, what happens when I don't get somebody to interview? I don't have nothing to talk about. I don't have a podcast. So I figure I'll just do this by myself. That way I don't have to rely on that. And eventually once things start kicking off, then I can start interviewing people and they'll be like, oh, he's interviewing people now. Like, who do you interview next? Instead of like, oh, he interviewed that one person or that first 5, and then that was that. He didn't get another person to interview after that. So learn to do things by yourself. Fall in love with being alone, because that's where you're going to get the most done. You don't have to worry and stress about anybody not getting the job done right. You don't have to get mad at yourself for being in a routine of doing something with somebody else. You're like, okay, you're not going to show up? Okay, all good. I'm going to still continue to do it by myself. I go to the gym by myself. I listen to the podcast by myself. I do this podcast by myself. I edit videos I do everything by myself. And if somebody wants to come along, cool. But if not, I'm still going to do it. So just rely more on yourself to get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way I feel like you could do it. Unless you find somebody with the same amount of drive, or you think you could push this somebody to be more of a go-getter like yourself, then go for it. But it's very hard to find those people nowadays. You know what I mean? Everybody is too afraid to take the chance. So, yeah, learn to do it by yourself. That way you could show them, I didn't need nobody. You could do this too. I did it by myself.